ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's ERIK NAGEL.
Live from the floor of New York Comic Con at the Jacob Javits Center in Midtown Manhattan, it is ERIK NAGEL. That is me. For the It's ERIK NAGEL Show. And to my left is my co-host, Giddles.
Hey, what up, buddy?
Matt OG is still riding out a hurricane in Cancun. And serves him right for getting to go on vacation. That is part of his vacation's ruined by a huge storm.
Ruined.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of people here. I'm like, is that guy cosplaying as Matt OG? I'm like, nope, it's just the bald guy with a beard.
Yep.
Every time I turn around, I'm like, Matt OG is here. Nope.
You know, I have a picture not from this con, from another con, where the guy looks so much like Matt, I had to take a picture with him. He had the Jane hat on from Firefly. It was amazing.
And Matt Gravelly voice, the sexy smoker voice, if you will, is Big Kev from Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
It's what's left of Big Kev from Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
This is what, porn stars thrive for, where they smoke, the
sore
pack
throats?
of Reds unfiltered. Just so, when back in the days when 900 numbers were the thing, they would want these, smoky, sultry voices to talk to young men.
I feel like I sound like every waitress in every diner after 2 a.m. What can I get for you kids tonight?
You know what he sounds like? Lunch Lady Doris from The Simpsons.
Exactly. More testicles
mean more.
Damn
we're
you.
on the same page.
God damn it. I'm leaving. I'm
There's
out.
not a lot of meat in these gym mats. Anyway.
So good.
So we're here for the second show from New York Comic Con. Today is a little bit different. Today is a little bit different in the format as we spend some time on the merch angle.
Yes.
And all the items that are for sale here at New York Comic Con.
Which is almost everything.
Right. So we'll talk to our buddy Josh from Zen Monkey Studios, who's been on the show before.
Yep.
We'll get to him in just a bit. Then we'll head over to Funko, which is pretty much, as far as merchandising goes, it's become the crown jewel of conventions for San Diego and for New York Comic Con. This is the big thing that everyone runs for. Obviously, Marvel, Hasbro, they all have their lines as well, but you always see people going crazy for the lottery for the Funko Pops.
Dude, I put up a picture on Instagram of me with a Funko Pop, and a random person saw the hashtag, contacted me, and asked them if I can get them exclusives. I don't no idea who this person is. So, that just shows you how crazy it is for Funko.
Yeah, and for everyone who thinks that, Funkos are the new Beanie Babies, no. They figured out how to keep this train going, and by making a huge secondary market just by putting stickers on the box.
That's it.
That's all they had to do. These guys are what you call geniuses.
Yeah, it's a percentage of a cent.
Yes.
And it just
generates uber millions.
So much. There's going to be a Funko Con soon, I'm sure.
It has to be. They just launched the store in Seattle, their first brick and mortar store, this huge complex for Funko in Seattle, Washington, I believe it's in, right? And they just had the big open up. Kevin Smith and Comic Book Men were the big celebrity gets there for the opening, and then they're doing stuff with WWE.
Yep.
They're gonna have a bunch of superstars out there for the next wave of stuff they're doing. They're just printing their own money at this point. They're gonna be their own government and own island at some point. The land of Funko, somewhere in the Mediterranean near Cyprus and the Greek Isles.
Yeah.
So
Funkoland.
Funkoland. Well, wasn't Funkoland the other Funko? Remember, weren't they a game before GameStop? Funkoland was the other one.
I don't know.
You don't remember Funkoland?
No.
Funkoland got absorbed by
that's
GameStop.
Right. Funkoland. I completely forgot about it.
FUNCO.
Yeah, Funko.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that was the first place you could sell your old games and trade them in and all that shit.
Right, and it was a great concept, but they marketed wrong, and GameStop swooped in and took them over. So so you can't do Funkoland. The Isle of Funkos. You put an S at the end. Makes it sound kind of Greek.
Very Greek. Yeah.
Very Greek. But we'll get to Funko in a little bit. And then later in the program, this is a real treat. If you're a fan of any kind of animation or voiceover work or just a human being in general, you know the names like Mel Blanc from Looney Tunes. You know the names Billy West from The Howard Stern Show, Ren and Stimpy, countless other animation stuff. Well, this gentleman is right up there on the Mount Rushmore of professional celebrity voice talent.
Absolutely.
Rob Paulson, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain,
His
Ninja
name was
Turtles.
Robert Paulson.
Yes, but that's not that guy.
His name was Robert
This
Paulson.
guy actually
What?
exists, Giddles.
Why on earth did we not do that joke with him?
Because
when
I'm
he
sure
was here?
everybody did it to him a million times since that movie has come out.
You know why? Because his name is Robert Paulson.
All right, Giddles is stuck. Smack him like a vinyl record and have him skip and get back on track with us. He's referencing the movie Fight Club if you're not familiar with that. But yeah, we'll talk to Rob a little bit later in the show. Merchandising. Before we get to Josh and Zen Monkey Studios, what have you been seeing on the floor? Have you bought anything?
Well, I got some Funko Pops,
Right.
which I was very happy to get. I also got the San Diego Comic-Con Tamashii Nations white Boba Fett samurai figure.
Okay. I don't know that one.
It's a cross between Star Wars and samurai culture.
Okay.
6-inch figure. It's an amazing line. I have all of them. That was their San Diego exclusive. I obviously did not get it in San Diego, but I was able to pick it up here. Another great thing about New York Comic Con is all the leftovers
Right.
come here.
Yeah.
And you would think there wouldn't be any, but certain companies do have leftovers, and they bring it to New York. Because
Absolutely.
I can't even say it's the number 2 con anymore. It's like both San Diego and New York are the number 1 cons, like equal right now. New York really is coming to its own. So this is like WWE and WCW. This is the top tier.
East Side.
Yes,
Yeah.
East Side, West Side connection. And what else did you get on the floor?
That's about it so far. My big shopping day is yet to come.
Okay, so what would you be looking for? You going down to Artist Alley? You looking for artwork?
I'm definitely going to go to Artist Alley, check out some great art down there. I'm going to go to Geico and see if I can get some insurance.
Oh, you're gonna go to the Schick booth and get a razor?
I am. I'm going to go right over to Medieval Times and see what that's all about.
Right.
And yeah, a lot of things to see here at New York Comic Con.
Oh, what I didn't talk about, celebrity stuff. My nephew and I ran into Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
I told you if you heard the first show for New York Comic Con 2017, when we were going to do Comic Book Men, they were running a little behind, so we had the guys from Comic Book Men, but Kevin had to run off to the Hammerstein. So we're walking by. There's a stage in the corner in the back there for fandom, and he's up there doing his IMDb show.
Yep.
I couldn't see who the guests were, but he was getting ready to go do that as we're walking past this black curtain in a very depressing area of 20 ATMs just lined up back there behind that Echo Escape the Room thing. So it's sort of like people aren't really walking back there because there's ATMs and that's it. But we just did it to cut the crowd, and we're on the other side of the stage, and there comes Kevin. So I'm looking at him, I just point at him like, hey, and he does a smile and happy wave, and then goes up on stage and he's doing his IMDb show. So he was here for a little bit, which is weird because I saw his Instagram or his social media yesterday, and he was in Atlanta. So he went to Atlanta for a day and came back to New York Comic Con.
The man gets around.
He does get around.
The man gets around.
Did you find anything on the floor? What were you looking for?
Like merch-wise?
Yeah.
I was just looking for like interesting shirts and lots of pins this year. Like pin culture is like becoming crazy. Every single person has pins. Nickelodeon's here giving out pins. I got a free pineapple one for SpongeBob. It's pretty sweet.
Right.
And it's just crazy. Like every single person has pins.
Let's just talk about that SpongeBob thing for a second. SpongeBob is becoming a Broadway musical.
Yep.
I did hear that.
Yeah, so we were over there and they got the pins. I think I have the card here with me. They were handing out the cards and the pins, and they said, it's for the upcoming Broadway musical. And Giddles goes, you guys have a musical? And the lady's like, yeah, it's going to be a big deal and what have you. Here's the card.
It's like music by like really big acts.
SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical for everyone. And then the music lineup, look at this, all right? Steven Tyler and Joe Perry of Aerosmith. Sarah Bareilles is on there. The Flaming Lips, John Legend, Panic at the Disco, Plain White T's, Cyndi Lauper, They Might Be Giants, T.I., and then also featuring songs by David Bowie, Tom Kenny, and Andy Paley. It's like
a weird Lollapalooza.
So did David?
thing.
I haven't seen I haven't seen all of SpongeBob because it's just on all the time.
Right.
I don't even. They have like 20-something years, like The Simpsons. But I don't know if David Bowie did a feature on SpongeBob. I have to look that up.
I don't recall.
Or if he recorded this song for it, and it might be one of those post-mortem releases.
Right.
that this is a brand new David Bowie song.
Or it could be
with
like
the characters from SpongeBob.
Sure, Tom Kenny is SpongeBob.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
That's why I was just bringing that up. It says 10 songs by, so I don't know if he was on there and they're just playing a song that he already did.
I am unaware.
So
sir.
if you have kids or if you watch SpongeBob, you already know the answer to this. Whether it's yes or no, forgive us. We didn't have a chance.
I'm wondering if it's like one of like the what's that, like that ABBA play
You know
where they
what?
just use different
You
songs.
know what, Eric? Why don't they give us a call at the ERIK NAGEL line?
**** pound 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 9999.
You're
There
missing
you
a
go.
number.
You don't have an ERIK.
9.
You don't have an
there
ERIK
you go.
NAGEL line?
Not yet. It's
You gotta
coming,
have a
though.
line.
It's like a bat
It's coming,
phone.
though. Look, we just got a studio. All right. It's been a difficult month. Things have been transitioning, and we'll get to the phone number eventually.
I appreciate that.
All right. So we'll get back into more of the merchandising and other cool stuff that's here on the floor. But for now, let's go over to our pal Josh over at Zen Monkey Studios. This is really a cool story because Josh got the Rick and Morty line license within the first season.
Yeah.
When no one cared or really knew what Rick and Morty was, and they jumped on it and got it for a really good price. And then what?
Did they do the mini figures? Was that them?
Oh,
I don't
maybe
think,
a while
I don't know
ago.
if they
I
did
don't
the
know.
like the little Meeseeks and stuff. I don't think that was
That
them.
wasn't them? Oh,
I
I
don't
thought
think
that might
so.
have been them.
No,
Because I just saw pins and shirts over there, but I didn't
pins,
see
shirts,
Okay.
posters.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
But now they still have that license agreement with them. And Rick and Morty is, look, Newsweek and a lot of other major publications have done the research, and they said the #1 comedy on television for 2017 is officially Rick and Morty.
Right.
And like comedy, like that's like they're comparing it to like Modern Family and like other
Yeah.
shows like that, like mainstream
You're beating,
shows.
Yeah, exactly. Broadcast network comedies.
Which means they beat Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Which was the #1 comedy on
Right.
television.
Which is huge for a cartoon that airs at 11:30 at night on a Sunday.
Right, with only 10 official episodes for this season.
Official.
While these other comedies that win Emmys and all this stuff are on for 22 episodes throughout the year. And this one little thing, this little sleeper hit that came out of nowhere is officially the #1 comedy for 2017.
Because
Amazing.
they're just proving that you have 12 extra
Oh my
episodes
God.
of filler.
IT crowd.
IT crowd.
IT crowd.
Yeah.
The cosplay has been really cool this year.
Yeah.
All right,
if you
so
hear us
anyway,
yelling that out, that's just what we're doing.
let's go over to Zen Monkey Studios, talk to Josh about everything Rick and Morty, and
Yep.
then we'll be right back.
It's ERIK NAGEL at New York Comic Con.
Here with our old pal Josh Mirman, one of the guys running Zen Monkey Studios. He's been on our show a few times, and every time we try to get near you, your business has blown up, especially since you got the lucrative Rick and Morty license. You were one of the first guys I know to jump on that thing before it really blew up, and now you're reaping the rewards of it.
I mean, yeah, like we got really lucky. Justin found us. I'm sure Justin told you guys that part. He found us because the other licensees at the time weren't really doing anything, and he just wanted the fans to have something really cool, and he found us, and that's really what started it all.
I got to ask you, because the pin line really is blown up for to incorporate with season 3.
Yeah.
So right after an episode would air for season 3, on your social media it would put out the pins from that episode. So you knew in advance what you're making here and all that. How hard is it keeping that secret and being careful not to reveal what's coming up in the season?
It was really terrible. It was torture. Basically, Justin said the one secret don't share is Evil Morty reveal at the end of episode 7. I was like, okay. So like, if I talk to my parents and be like, yeah, so this episode, blah 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 happens, I don't say anything about Evil Morty.
Right.
So, yeah, I flew out January of this year to watch the animatics while they were working on the show, just so that we can have products, because our license basically means we're competing with bootlegs and not with Hot Topic or Spencer's Gifts. So in order to compete with the bootlegs who don't need to go through an entire approval process with licensing, we had to fly out there and work ahead of schedule.
Right. It would have been funny that when that episode just ended and the reveal happened, that you texted Justin and said, dude, Evil Morty at the end. I think he would have appreciated that joke.
Would he? He probably would have not responded.
Who is this?
Yeah.
So anyway, we talked to you in the past. You did this great artwork that was of a fan of especially The Simpsons, where it was all made out of words, and it formed together, made the whole character, a character from The Simpsons here. And you've obviously grown with this company here? Because now the graphics that you have for these T-shirts, these pins, and these are not cheaply made pins. These are high quality stuff. And having the official license, again, like you said, with the bootleggers definitely helps. What made you decide to go the pin route?
Like, Disney has that down pat, and like, you know, I'm one of those Disney adults that has a problem that wants to go to the parks all the time. And I saw what they were doing, I was like, me too. And fortunately,
you know they got that from the Olympics, right?
I do know. I listened to an audiobook from like the guy who was like the vice president at the time, and fortunately, the licensing manager for Rick and Morty used to work at Disneyland Paris. So when we were like, we want to do pins, here's some samples, she understood where we were coming from. And she's like, sure, do it. You know, rather than do like just like Rick's head, Morty's head, we try to incorporate art. So we're like trying to tell stories like with that family set. And after this con, we're trying to start Artist Series, which is the artist's interpretation of the characters for the licenses that we have. So we can really try to build the art community even further, as well as offer stuff that the bootleggers are never going to think of.
Right. So you have the shirts, you have the pins, and for those who don't know, you also do some exclusive stuff for Mystery Science Theater 3000 with that making a return here. What's next for you guys?
Next, we're working with Nickelodeon. We have Invader Zim, so we're going to do some cross promotions with Oni Press because they have the Invader Zim comic license. We are also going to do some 80s and 90s live action, which includes like Double Dare and Legends of the Hidden Temple. You know, we also got Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. We were talking to them about 90s Nicktoons and Ninja Turtles, but we were like, I think we're asking for too much right now. Let's just show them what we can do. We were talking to Sega, and the licensing manager seems really keen on us, but you know, they just got really busy with the success of Sonic Mania that we haven't heard from them in a while. And I think that's it for now.
What's your most popular item to date? Like, what's the hardest to keep in stock?
The shirt-wise, it's Pickle Ricks versus the Rats. It glows in the dark.
The shirt glows in the dark.
Shirt glows in the dark. Pin-wise, it's I avoided family therapy, and also Pickle Rick, and Pocket Tiny Rick, which is so hot that Rickmobile now sells thousands of them, and they buy wholesale with us.
Well, Josh, I'm so happy to see that your own art is doing so well, your company is doing so well, and you're obviously growing. You were telling me right as this was opening for today, you got here and the line was 3 aisles down.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know we had a line until our neighbors started yelling at us to, you know, regulate the line. That's your job. So I had to go to ReedPop, who owns New York Comic Con. I'm like, help me, please. So they had to get helpers and, you know, tell people where to go to the back of the line for the Rick and Morty pins. And some people waited like 45 minutes for these little pins. We couldn't believe it. It's Thursday. It's the first day.
For the exclusives or for just the regular line that you have out?
The exclusives mostly, but, you know, they were piggybacking. There was a lot of people getting like 4 or 5 pins.
All right. Well, Josh, man, this is awesome. If you get a chance to look at all this stuff online, go to Zen Monkey Studios, find them online there. You can order all this, obviously not the exclusives, but you can order all the rest of the stuff, the pins, the shirts. I see some posters over there. Do they glow in the dark too?
No.
No? All right, that would cost a lot more money, I'm assuming. But your posters, all this great stuff here. Thanks so much. It's good to get a chance to talk to you again. This line is still like 3 people deep.
It's crazy. I was like, this will be good. We'll probably sell 40% of our inventory. I didn't know that meant on Thursday.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Hey, look, if you can sell all this by Friday, you have nothing to go home with, and that seems to be every exhibitor's goal here, is to leave with hardly anything.
I'm just, you know, it's been a hard first half of the year. We changed printers for our shirts, and we had to change fulfillment centers from Georgia to Austin, Texas, and it was really hard. February we made like $-, and for this to be like a turnaround point is a relief, and we're very fortunate and lucky, and we acknowledge that.
Josh, thank you so much for your time, man. I won't bug you anymore. You got a lot of business here going on. Go sell some stuff, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, I'll see you next time.
It's ERIK Nagel at New York Comic Con.
Back here on the floor of New York Comic Con for 2017. I am Eric, that is Giddles, and joining us, of course, is Big Kev from Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
Hello.
Hello. talk to Josh from Zen Monkey Studios about everything Rick and Morty and what those guys are going through. But now it wouldn't be a con for us if we didn't shift our attention and our efforts over to our pals at Funko.
Yep.
Funko is such an insane deal, and it doesn't even mean that you have to be into geeky nerd culture. You can just like anything.
Yep.
Anything in the world. Funko, 9 out of 10 times, has the license for it. They make merchandise for things that you wouldn't think a toy company would make.
You can sum it up very easily. Bob Ross has a pop.
Not only does Bob Ross have a pop, he has
got
4
more
variants
coming
out because of the success,
Yeah.
1, of the original pop.
Correct.
2, the success of the Bob Ross series on Amazon Prime.
Correct.
Or Netflix.
It's
one of
Netflix.
Netflix. But 3, you know who else was testing out their new stuff? Twitch. They just they launched a Bob Ross channel temporarily just to see the viewing patterns of something that wasn't video game related.
Right.
And their numbers were outdrawing the video game channels.
Amazing.
Bob Ross. If you don't know who that is, look it up. Bob was he was a PBS show, the 70s into the 80s, maybe at the touch of the 90s.
No, I don't think so.
He lasted through the 80s.
I just think in the 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
he
think
was
so.
he was a hippie, a free thinker, as you will.
Was he a hippie? I think he was in Nam.
Was he really?
I think he was.
Well, a lot of people in Nam didn't want to be in
Well,
Nam.
that's true.
They were also hippies, but no, he was one of those free spirit kind of guys, very artsy, very creative, who just had a painting show. A very simple. It was him with a black curtain and an easel, and then he would talk to you. It was pretty much at the time when white noise machines weren't available,
Yeah.
and people were learning you could fall asleep to the television. You put that on because he was so soothing.
He's visual Xanax.
Yeah, and comforting. It was very zen watching this
very
guy.
much.
Yeah.
And he would talk very softly, very emotional about making paintings with happy little clouds and pretty little trees, and he would always say white all the time.
White.
And it just
And phthalo blue.
right. And it was popular for what it was at the time, but it
Yeah.
had a resurgence, as time went on, as being this weird counterculture thing that hipsters just embraced, and now millennials were embracing it. Somebody I know just had a party for her daughter. I think she's around 14, 15. They had a Bob Ross painting party.
That's awesome.
So they were
Were they painting Bob Ross or painting paintings like Bob Ross would paint?
No,
They
they
paint
dressed
along
like
with him.
they dressed like Bob Ross.
Okay.
They got wigs and he just wore the equivalent of the blue shirts. And if your father had a white collar job, he just wore a blue shirt or a white
button-down.
button. That's all it was, opened, and a big afro.
A big 70s afro.
Right. They would dress like this, and these teenage girls, pizza and everything. It's like what the adult ladies do now, where they go and do painting and have wine.
Yeah.
This is the teenage equivalent, where
The
they're having
paint and
pizza
sip.
parties.
Ugh.
Yeah, like those things. Or where it was a pizza party and they just did painting.
Yeah.
And this has become a thing. And you're like, how did that become a thing? But it did. Thanks to
became a
the
thing.
internet, thanks to Netflix, thanks to things like that. Funko with their pops.
Yep.
Brings it all back here.
Perfect example.
Right.
And Mark had an extraordinary amount of things to talk about when we were over there with him.
Right. And while we were doing the interview, a surprise guest walked over and joined us for the show. Who was there signing
Okay.
secretly.
I didn't want you to give it away.
Not giving it away. So he was signing there secretly. He went over there, signed all the pops, so that the people waiting online for the next, what do they call them? Sessions.
Yeah.
You have a morning session, then they close for a while, for like 2 hours, then they have an afternoon session.
They got to restock.
So for the afternoon session, he went in and just signed all of them. So if you were going there for this particular pop, you had no idea, one, he was there unless you just happened to see him walk by, but two, you had no idea that he signed them all.
Yep.
So that was a really cool thing for fans. If you went to go buy, you were lucky enough to get the lottery ticket to buy the thing. Now you bought that pop and it was signed by this person.
Amazing.
It was. So let's go over to the Funko Pavilion. We got to part the crowds like Moses, if you will.
Right.
And go onto the floor itself, waiting for the next session. Talk to Mark about everything going on, the new exclusives, and what's coming into the future for Funko.
It's ERIK Nagel at New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con.
Continuing on the floor for New York Comic Con 2017, Eric and Gittles here, and it wouldn't be a con if we didn't stop by and see our pal Mark at Funko, like we do every time. We've harassed this guy, I think, for the last 4 years now, not just in New York, but also in San Diego.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, we're just always here bugging him, asking about all the new cool hot toys, and they're always awesome, so we can't complain.
And now they have a store they just opened up in Seattle, so we're going to have to make yet another West Coast trip and track him down there.
I want to do that, and then we can go get Voodoo Donuts, too, and do all that fun stuff.
It's a little weird. We're talking, he's right here, and we're not looking at him as we talk, so
Plus,
we better turn.
Voodoo
and talk
Donuts
to
is
him.
in Portland, too.
Oh, I was wrong.
You have to drive south.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
The only one I ever went to was when we were in Austin.
Yeah.
There was one right near our hotel.
Yeah, I think there's one in LA now, too, but we don't have them in Seattle.
It was right when Prince died, so they covered everything in purple. So all the donuts had purple, like, all right, they're gimmicky, and that's what they're doing. So, but anyway, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Off to a really weird start with Comic-Con this year. Not just you guys, but there's been some other vendors around here that were having tech problems and issues. The crowd control has been a little different, ever since the Vegas incident.
Yeah, a lot of
there's
security
a lot of
here this year,
precaution.
yeah.
It's taken all people a
Can't
long
say
time
I'm
to get
against.
in.
I mean, I'm sure that sucks for people outside, but I can't say I'm against it.
I'm
you
not
know?
at all.
Yeah.
No, and it was weird because yesterday it felt very somber on the floor. There wasn't a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But there's people, there's cops walking around with dogs on the floor and everything for the first time we've ever seen.
It's good, I mean, obviously, nobody wants anything like that to happen here, but it seems like. Fingers crossed. It's a room full of good
and no
people.
one's
A lot of
complaining about it.
lot
Everyone's
of
on
love.
board.
I feel like Comic-Cons are tough. There's people everywhere. Everybody gets stressed out, but still feel like at the end of the day, everybody's here to have a good time. Being nice to each other, chilling out. So.
Right. Well,
it'll all work out.
Well, let's talk about the fun stuff that Funko is doing here. One thing I want to point out that I've noticed, I don't know if you've done this at other cons, but I see that the staff shirts change each day.
Yeah.
So yesterday was one color. Today it's a nice, cool, it's like a heather gray and purple mixed together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is this something new, or have you done this at all the other conventions?
We always change. We usually have one each day. I don't know. It's just something we started doing because.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And it's funny. People will want to other people want to collect them and whatnot, and they're always offering to buy literally the shirt off of my back.
Right.
But it's just kind of funny that I don't know. My boss, our CEO Brian, he's definitely a closed guy, and so he's never been one to just be content with here's one shirt for the entire show. It's no, we're gonna do 5 colors at SDCC and 4 colors at NYCC. So he's into it.
And just tell them, look, much like our exclusives, you'll find these shirts somewhere on the secondary market, and you can pay the markup for it.
Very possible.
I
hope they've been washed.
So what are the cool things that we have for New York? What's the exclusives here?
So we have 71 exclusives here.
Wow.
So two
is that your most ever or no?
It's our most ever at NYCC. I think if you look at everything we've done at San Diego's still a little bit bigger, but this is really the first year that they're pretty much equivalent. I want to say we brought about 45,000 units of product to San Diego and here. So it's basically equaled San Diego at this point. Not counting the pop-up shop that we do over there. But yeah, this year we've got 71 exclusives. The hottest one is probably James Gunn, the director of Guardians 2.
Thank you for bringing that up, because this is where Matt and I were talking about this. We talked to you in San Diego about if you guys ever thought about doing a director's line. And you told us you did 1 or 2 in the past.
We've done Brian Fuller.
Right.
We did Paul Feig.
Right.
And now since then we've done Kevin Smith and James Gunn.
So when Matt and I were talking to him, we're like, wow, maybe if they'll do a full line. Stupid us, they were way ahead of us. They already had this in motion, and he couldn't talk about it, obviously.
it's not one of those things we're doing it. Obviously you're not finding them in stores.
Right.
These are promotional type of opportunities, and it's also for people we know. It's people that we've talked to, like Paul Feig, who we met him at Toy Fair, and then that conversation started, and we started talking to James on Twitter. Strangely enough, and we said something in a post, or how about a James Gunn pop, and he was like, I would legit prefer that to an Oscar at this point. We're like, okay, we can make that happen. So it's kind of something that sort of evolves organically. We're not back there okay, we're gonna make a director series and it's gonna go into Target. It's more just something that we do for people that want it done, and that so we've been talking and trying to figure out who'd be a good person to do next. I'm really pushing for Taika Waititi from Thor. I would love to do him. He's been a great supporter of the Thor line that we've got out.
You can get a deal with Quentin, maybe.
Hey,
because I know
we've done his movies.
The reaction.
We've done Pop from his stuff too. Yeah,
right. But to get him in a yellow suit or something.
I was gonna say Guillermo del Toro with some of his little monster creations.
That would be fun too. Yeah, I mean
we've
we've had meetings with that guy because he's the brains behind Troll Hunters, so that'd be fun as well. Yeah, but I only as Pappy from Always Sunny.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
And for what you did for James Gunn, James Gunn, was that not only is it a Comic-Con exclusive, it's also a numbered exclusive too.
Yeah,
There was only
500.
500
Yeah.
which is pretty much a handful at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so if you didn't buy it, you're not going to find it anywhere. You know, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool that you do specialty things like that. I also see that too. We've always talked about the weird offshoot figures from Hanna-Barbera and the Warner Brothers universe, where like, really, does somebody want that character? And then turns out to be one of your biggest sellers.
Speedy Gonzalez is this year's That Thing. Like
Right.
he's behind James. I think he's selling out number 2.
Because the other thing was from, what is it called?
Hardy Har Har.
Yeah, and Lippy
the
the Lion,
Lion,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Also numbered editions
Yep.
like that, and I saw people going crazy for
Yep.
those things
Yep.
too. And I'm like, those were never big properties to begin with, but maybe that's why, because they never had anything out, and now
Sure.
something
Yeah.
exists for the fans.
Again,
of that.
that's all a Brian thing. He is just into Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers and Motu. That is his jam. So whenever you see one of those figures, and one more, Scott Pilgrim. If you see any of that stuff, you know Brian personally was like, we're doing that. And he was mad when he realized there was no Scott Pilgrim at this show. So it's like, we got Emerald City Comic Con coming up. Scott Pilgrim is back on the line list.
One of the things to touch on Scott Pilgrim was the ones at San Diego. We have a buddy of ours who loves everything Scott Pilgrim, so we had to pick up some stuff
Right.
for him. And it was weird that we got the grayscale ones.
Yeah.
Those ones were
Yeah.
there, but the color, what you think would be the regular versions, were all sold out.
Right.
So we're like, how did we get the variant easy and the original one was hard to get?
Sometimes people just don't do their research.
Yeah.
I actually talked to a guy today who was like, I had a lottery pass yesterday and I only bought like a couple of things because I didn't really know what this was, and I didn't buy like the most rare stuff. Can I get back in line today? And I was like, no, you can't, and do your research.
I would have said, all right, come here, got a
That was
megaphone,
amazing.
and then said, tell this whole line what you just told me.
Right.
And I said, if they react kindly, I'll let you back online.
Right. And then the chorus of booze that would
And
start
stuff
drowning
being
him.
thrown. It looks like an old WCW event.
Yeah, it's like half-baked. We're like, boo this man, boo.
Another thing we were talking about right before we started recording is these 8-bit looking figures. You have the Ninja Turtle line here. You have Dig Dug, which is awesome right over there.
Yep.
Batman. So doing this 8-bit kind of pixel thing is relatively new, and who knew this would be so popular?
Yeah, I mean, the art staff was kind of like, what if we did something to kind of honor, because it started looking at like 80s properties and obviously stuff that originated as a game, like Dig Dug. It's kind of the where what they were going with, and it was like, well, there were 8-bit Batman video games and TMNT games and whatnot. So now we're kind of experimenting with other forms. I think they're super cute. They're also really, really heavy. There's a lot of heft there.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of bizarre. I don't know why that is. I don't know what.
The only other heavier one I have is the Cthulhu one from like.
Right. Yeah.
And that one felt like metal. Yeah,
it's really weird. But it's cool. We've got some other interesting ones. Like, without going into details, we've got some coming up based of current TV shows that
In
are
an 8-bit
set
form?
in the 80s. So then the idea is, well, they're kind of 80s driven, so therefore they can be in 8-bit form.
Current
But
TV shows that were set in the 80s.
but
That seems rather strange. Yeah. We'll have to figure that one out. But again, you got to give props to Funko with their tactics. We've talked in the past about
that Dig Dug looks exactly like Dig Dug from the video game. Like, it's
Yeah.
insane.
It's
Like,
really
so
cool.
crazy.
what it looks like. For those of you who are not understanding the 8-bit block figure, take a small photo and try to expand it. You know how digitally it looks?
Right.
It's all blocked. That's what that is.
low res pops.
Yeah, if you looked at that from a distance, it looks like it's drawn perfectly. But you
Right,
get up
right.
close, and that's what it is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was just saying, in the past, we got to admire the design, tactics, and marketing for Funko, where sometimes they had ideas for properties that the parent company may not be so on board with. And they have these ways of letting the public know, and then the public uprising saying, we really should do this. And it kind of gets the company in favor with Funko, and then they develop those things. Much like Stranger Things, which was one of the best success stories, where Netflix wasn't really on board. And they did this, they released some mock outlines or what have you.
There's an 11 with Electro.
Yeah,
It's right over there.
it's true.
There is. And now look where you were. A couple years ago, you couldn't get this done. And now here you are with a bunch of different Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a case of, like, I wouldn't say Netflix wasn't on board as much as I think they were just kind of being conservative about sometimes people are like, I just don't know how much I want to rush into merchandising our show, our band, whatever it is. It's like they want to be a little bit cautious about it. So their IP, how commercial do you want to be? And I get it. If I had something valuable like that, I'd probably want to take my time, make sure that you don't want people giving you the old sellout line and all that kind of stuff. Right. And not everybody wants to turn into Kiss overnight. But so I get it. But yeah, sometimes they just need to be convinced like there is a market and that we're going to take care of it. We're not going to make their IP look bad. It's going to be even more loved, and you're just giving another way for fans to interact with your show, your band, your movie.
It's a little weird. So while we're talking about this, he just waved as he walked past. Zack Ryder from the WWE is right over here, signing all your
pops.
figures.
Yeah.
So are you going to charge more because they're signed, or is it just going to be as is?
I think they can charge less for those.
Well, you know what? He did win the Intercontinental Championship
that's really cool.
on a Sunday
very
night
nice
and
of him
then
to do
lost
that.
it the next day on Raw.
That's amazing because fans are just going to be able to come and pick that up. I mean, that's Kevin Smith did something similar at the HQ and he was there, which, by the way, if any of your listeners, you mentioned wanting to come to Seattle. We're actually doing a signing October 17th where Zach is going to be there signing a 500-piece limited edition Zack Ryder, so different than that one, in the store. And then New Day is also coming as well. So we're going to be doing a WWE signing Monday, October 17th.
That's great. I'm amazed by him doing all this. Oh, Kevin Smith, Comic Book Men.
Yeah.
So you did the big grand opening of the brick and mortar store for Funko out in Seattle, and they were there. They did signings, and they all had limited runs of their figures. And we talked to the guys from Comic Book Men, and we're talking to Brian and Walt. And it was amazing that it was such a limited
Who were you talking
run.
to? Huh? Ming? Were you talking to Ming or
all four of them?
Oh, okay.
They were all there, and Kevin yesterday.
Okay.
And we were talking about the figures because his Fat Man on Batman figures went there were so hard to get, and then on the secondary market exploded.
Yeah.
These guys had like a 150-piece run or something for their figures, and they were all in a grayscale variant where they're all just wearing gray clothing, and those were going for like $500 a piece. And I talked to them about it because there's a line that he said on the show. They had Tom Cavanaugh on, and they gave him a Reverse Flash Funko Pop at the end as a gift. And Brian made the joke of saying, he goes, well, the rich just get richer. And he goes, and you get free Funko Pops. I said, well, so now where are you when you got your free Funko Pops? And he goes, I'm a big enough man to admit I was wrong.
That's funny.
So that's kind of cool. All these different universes and people that we're friends with and paths that we cross all somehow are now verging to the mecca that is Funko.
Right. Yeah.
So what are some of the other New York exclusives here that are getting people's attention?
After the James Gunn and Speedy, there is a Statue of Liberty version of Freddy that is really cool. People are liking that one a lot, which I'm happy to see. There's no IP on that one either, so that's kind of fun. It's just something that our artist came up with. So fans seem to be really excited about getting something that's themed in New York. We typically do that for this show. We actually don't do that for a lot of shows. There's no like special San Diego version of Freddy on a surfboard or waiting in line or something. Line con.
Pop waiting in line to get the Funko Pop.
But we do do some of it for Seattle. We'll do some Seattle themed Freddy's. Those two, I think Old Man Logan. We've got Old Man Logan as a pop and Dorb. People are definitely loving that, as well as we got two different versions of Dragon Zord from Power Rangers. And don't necessarily have two different versions of the same show. I don't know, got a little excited, I guess, but they're both selling really well. And then the other big thing is this one right behind you. We have the Pickle Rick t-shirt in a pickle jar. This is just the apparel team really kind of going nuts here. It was just something this was last minute. Like these got here yesterday. And got approved by Cartoon Network, made it out here.
Oh, sorry, one of our guys is over there.
Oh, he's waving at us. And people are really were mad that these weren't on sale yesterday, and these are flying off the shelves
today.
Don't
bother putting that on the shelf because I will be purchasing that one.
But better make sure it's your size.
It's pretty cool because it's a real metal lid, plastic container, which is fine, but a real metal lid. It just shows the incredible detail and care that you guys put in to these specialty marketing ideas and something that's just overall fun. Because some people, I'm sure, won't even open the shirt; they'll leave it as is. for what they're doing. And oddly enough, that is my size.
That because I would totally wear that shirt.
I am.
Yeah,
going to
right?
wear that
Exactly.
shirt, yeah. Big Kev's here. We're looking at everything that's going on with Funko.
You know what I find amazing about Funko is the speed at which you turn something around. Pickle Rick was this season.
Yeah.
It was literally only a few weeks ago, and already Funko on top of it with an exclusive at New York Comic Con and 2 Pickle Rick Pops. Rickle Picks. 2 Pickle Rick Pops coming out in short order.
Yep.
I think that's just amazing. That's the kind of stuff I think Funko
we've always
gets done.
We've always been pretty speedy, pretty fast to market. I mean, we announced like the Night King on the Dragon, like right after the season finale of Game of Thrones ended. Spoilers, by the way. And well, better watch it. But we announced that like the week after the show aired. I mean, so our artists are fast. Our licensors are happy. You know, somebody asked me the other day on like a Twitter Q&A if we'd ever consider doing pops of Abraham Lincoln, and that's what I responded with.
Really? Too soon?
It was a shot in the dark.
Another thing you guys do well with the turnaround is a blending of...
I responded with, I was meaning pre-assassination. I was like, what are you talking about?
One of the other things you guys do great too is the blending of old school pop culture with current pop culture. Like we said, with the Speedy Gonzales and the older Warner Brothers properties, all the way up to Batman, the 60s version of Batman.
Yep.
And fast forward up to current stuff with WWE, with Stranger Things. You guys just you're covering all your fan bases with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that's helped Funko grow is that, you know, we like to say we have a license for everybody. I mean, there's something for old, young, male, female. It doesn't really matter. If there's a show, if there's a band, if there's one thing you love, we probably have the rights to it.
It's because you have the license to everything.
Right.
It's Funko owns all licenses at this point.
We just don't take no for an answer.
I just want to point out, I know Eric just said it, but, you know, that 60s styled Batmobile and Batman, the Japanese version, amazing. Mind-blowingly cool. Mind-blowingly cool.
What have you seen? Obviously, you know, when people are now discovering Funko, it's the pops.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty much your mainstream forefront of the company. But we've seen a huge jump in popularity for the Dorbs line, the Reaction line, and then you have some other vinyl stuff here too, with the vinyl spelt differently and all that. What is your fastest growing product now?
Fastest growing?
Or line, I should say.
Yeah. You know, I'd probably say Mystery Mini is still, like, I mean, we can't really put out enough Mystery Mini sets. I mean, we keep putting them out. They keep doing better and better.
Are those the ones you see at the front desk?
Yeah. Usually come in a box, and, you know, I mean, we're doing more and more licenses in those. We just started doing Star Wars. We did our first Star Wars Mystery Mini sets this year. You know, Rick and Morty, you name it. Again, we're just putting out a lot of licenses in that format. People love the collectability, the sort of gambling factor of not knowing who you're going to get and, you know, hitting a rare. Those are really, really successful. I mean, so between that and then Dorbs have really been growing.
That's the big thing, because you always see the pops. It took a while for pops to catch on, and then they were in every store. Even like Walgreens, you'd see it on an end cap. Like, why does Walgreens have pops? But they're everywhere. Yeah. But now the Dorbs, I'm seeing a lot more in Walmart and a lot more in Target. Yeah. So they're coming in to their own in the mainstream line. So now you have a gigantic second tier for that, and then it's just all a matter of time before the other ones that are coming up are going to be up there with pop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do you guys ever have any plans of just stopping, saying we've made all the money, there's nowhere else to go from here?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There are no stupid questions, but that wasn't a good one. No, we are not going to stop.
And clearly they're not, because they're going backwards and doing stuff like Slee Stacks from Land of the Lost. So, you know, like, that's incredible stuff to go that far back into pop culture.
Can we interrupt 1 second? He's been looking at Zack Ryder is here from WWE. Zack,
hey,
all Long Island guys.
Oh, what's up? How's it going?
How are you doing?
Sorry for crashing the party.
No, that's all right.
I'm just looking at that shredder over there.
Once you have your own pop in the booth, you're allowed to do whatever you want. So
I like that.
It's like a key. It's a key to the Funko Kingdom.
Okay, I'm in.
It only lasts for this weekend, though. Then you're back out.
How cool is this? You get not only you get your pop, but it's an exclusive. You're one of the centerpieces here at Funko on the floor at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I've been collecting these things since 2014. I have hundreds, and now to finally have...
You take them out of the box, right?
Of course I do. I rip
He's
the
an
boxes
animal.
open. I don't care about the stickers. I don't care how limited they are. I rip them open, and I display them all, and it's great to have a Zack Ryder one, especially New York Comic Con. The paint job is awesome. This is my WrestleMania gear where I won the Intercontinental title, so it's a perfect figure for me.
Does the figure have the belt with it?
It does not, but that's okay. It has the beard.
Okay.
That's all that matters. It has the beard. So it's great.
Being with WWE, they have, they always put out figures for their own, for the superstars and merchandise and what have you. But is this like the epitome of your success, like having your Funko Pop?
Oh, for sure, because, as a kid, I loved wrestling figures. Now I have a bunch of wrestling figures, but they make everybody. Funko doesn't make every WWE superstar. So to be up there with the elite guys, it's just great. Yeah, I feel very honored.
Well, we're very excited to see this, and even more excited to see you here. But I just got to give your props to the fact that you were walking around and just signing random figures here for the fans who are coming to buy your pop and don't know that it's signed. That is awesome.
I mean, I'm a fan just like them, so I got to give back in any way I can,
Well, do you have something?
No,
all right.
All right.
Well, I don't want to keep any more. Keep you for any more.
Feel that shredder from behind you. Thank you.
Right, the line is right over here, sir.
I'm the VIP now. I got the keys.
Great. Look what we did.
All right, guys, thank you.
He's going to be doing
Thanks,
a
Zach.
supermarket sweep. He's just putting his arm on the shelves and knocking them into a bag. Wow, Zack Ryder. You never know what you're going to see here at the Funko
Not at the
Pavilion.
Funko booth. Yeah,
No,
you guys missed DMC by a couple of minutes. You never know who's going to turn up.
So close.
Is there, I know I saw a couple more announcements of things to come, but what's left for 2017 as far as to be unveiled from Funko?
To be unveiled? Oh gosh.
Even stuff that you've already teased on Instagram.
No,
or
I mean,
something.
I'm pretty
Mark
sure.
had that much time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Black Panther stuff gets announced before the end of the year.
Okay.
So all the stuff from that upcoming Marvel movie will come out. I don't think the Han Solo stuff comes out. So I'm not sure. I haven't looked in a while to see what announcements are coming up. But we always have something. There's tons of movies and TV shows that are coming back on the air in 2018. I'm sure we'll have we'll have stuff coming up pretty shortly for Han Solo. Anything that we didn't cover in the Last Jedi opening wave. As soon as we see the movie, we'll be able to add characters to that. Any embargoed characters and whatnot will come out. We're always looking for more figures to do for Rick and Morty and some of our more successful lines.
Can we touch on that one of the exclusives?
Crumbopulous Mike, the killer.
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
loves killing. Can't stop killing. It's great. Looks like he's killing it here too.
I feel like we've got a version of him too with the sauce. But I don't know. I don't remember where I saw that or who it's for. Like it's a retail
Maybe you
exclusive or
dreamt
something like that. No, it's coming. I know it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway,
So yeah, the Rick and Morty stuff. We talked about the pickle, the pickle Rick in the pickle jar there. What?
Do they all start to blur over time, Mark? Do you start thinking, wait, did
not-
we actually
not
do that?
blur,
Or
but
was,
no.
Or was that just an idea
I
had?
would-
or
yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit hard to memorize, to keep everything memorized, but it can be done.
do you know the number of pops that you've produced? I mean,
no.
individual ones?
No, hell no.
That would be impressive.
Does the company know?
In theory.
There's someone in accounting who's like, all right, I got it. It's like the guy from Office Space.
As we wrap up here, of course, we got to talk about your subscription-based series that you have out there. The Star Wars box continues to be amazing every month when those come out. The Marvel box, the DC box. You have a Disney box. Is there anything? I mean, that's a lot of boxes already.
It is a lot of boxes.
We're not saying you need more.
No, I mean, we have no plans to do more, but I think what we'll see is more and more boxes that are available at retail, like around Black Friday. There's several Black Friday boxes planned where, GameStop will have a box that you can go buy in GameStop, and different retailers will have their own boxes with specific content. There's like a Kingdom Hearts box and different.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you'll be able to go into a store, and it's not subscription based, but you go there and you get a couple of pops, a mystery mini, a T-shirt. So we're doing stuff like that with our retail partners. Still managing our 4 subscription services, but I think we've got Thor is on sale right now for Marvel, and so there's some cool content coming up. There's and then the Last Jedi box is on sale for Smuggler's Bounty. So those will keep rolling, and there's always a lot of surprises coming. That's for sure.
Well, Mark, did you have one more thing?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, since you're doing all the Star Wars stuff, any chance to get a Spaceballs, maybe like Dark Helmet playing with two little
People
Funko
ask about
Pops?
that. I'm not sure we actually have that license, but hey, we do love kind of retro-y, nostalgic things. That'd be pretty fun.
What about Hitler on Ice?
Wow. Pass on that one.
I'm pretty sure you have the Spaceballs license because it is a license. So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, I think Funko probably has it.
It's in their vaults that look like the ending scene to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right, it's
Let's
just
pop open
files.
a box and see wow, we own that one. All right, let's mass produce it. Mark, thank you so much for your
bet.
time. We
You
appreciate
bet.
it. Enjoy the
Left-handed
rest
shake.
of your con. I know because it's awkward. That's what celebrities do. We shake with the left hand. So thank you so much, man. We really
No
appreciate
problem.
your time.
No problem.
And,
Yeah.
we'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
It's Eric Nagel. We'll be right back.